fell down on my nose about a month ago, and I broke both my wrists and arms, so kind of hard to get a tie on. Thank you.
With that, I'm showing 9 o'clock. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to start our board meeting today on April 16th here at the McLeod County Government Center. I'd also like to acknowledge that today is Student Government Day. We'll have students from Glyco Silver Lake School District and Hutchinson High School joining us. Let's begin with our Pledge of Allegiance. Can we please stand?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Consideration of agenda items. Do we have any additions or corrections to today's agenda?
No changes, Mr. Chair.
Move to approve. Second.
We have a motion by Nagel and a second by Luthens to approve today's agenda. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Our consent agenda.
No changes, Mr. Chair.
Move consent agenda, Mr. Chair.
Second.
We have a motion by Schmalz and a second by Luthens to approve today's consent agenda. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Our next item of business, we'll call on Liz Danielson to bring up our community spotlight for today.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm here today with a community spotlight, and for those who aren't familiar with our community spotlight, it's a moment where we can bring in either a business or an organization that has service within our county that is able to share with the board about what they do and some of the services that they provide. So I'm here today with Common Cup Ministries, and Bev Bonte, who's the director of Common Cup, is here today to share about her organization and the services that they provide. So I'll turn it over to Bev now if there's no other questions.
Thank you, Liz. Thank you, Liz, and thank you, commissioners, for letting me be here today. I think the last time I spoke was at the facility, the courthouse, so this is wonderful here. It's just beautiful. And welcome to all the students as well, and I'm glad that you are here so you can hear a little bit about Common Cup Ministry, and because it does impact everybody throughout McLeod County. And if I brought some brochures too that I'll leave for you kids afterwards too. And what I wanted to do today is just mostly spotlight what we have done in 2023. The Common Cup Ministry the idea began in 1999, so we're in our 25th year, and it was started in Hutchinson by 5 churches that pool their resources, which is the idea of the Common Cup, to help people in need throughout McLeod County. We are limited to McLeod County, though we are always having requests from other counties as well, so maybe someday some of those counties will lay hold of it. And also, we did receive the Outstanding Community Collaboration Award in 2010 because it reflected how the county pulled together and all the churches pulled together. So that was a wonderful acknowledgement to have. The brochures will go through the churches that are there participating and some of the history. So I won't spend too much time. I won't spend any time on that today. We do have a 9-member board. We have 1 representative from each of those churches that you see in the brochure. They are the voting members. We had our annual meeting yesterday and just voted in a new board member. So we are governed by that board as well. And our donations that you'll see, they mostly come, well, $1,000 every year comes from the county, which is such a blessing because it does, again, you'll see the expenses, how much that they have increased over the years. And then also area churches, businesses, some social organizations. And I know if you were in Glencoe and you were one of the students that helped with the corn sale, we received $2,000 from that as well. So, and the other sheet that I know I have given the commissioners, that's just going to show our January to December, the cost of our program, the income and our expenses. And then at our annual meeting yesterday, our treasurer, Jessica Stratetsky, she put out that pie chart, and I'll leave some of those as well. So those were not part of my slide presentation, but I think that pie chart shows, it greatly shows what everything WARA monies have gone to. And you'll see that our general assistance, which is where we help people in need, is 43% of our income. So we will just start with that, Stefan. Our warm coat distribution, which, again, it goes throughout the county. This began in 2007. Our intention when we started Common Cup was just to help individuals and families, but things have just been given to us, so to speak, or requested of us, since it is a collaboration of churches. So in 2007, we began our warm coats. We give away at least 450 coats every year. The total income has been $34,000, and you'll see our current balance is $6,700. We do not go and ask for monies when we still have a balance, but when this fund gets down, then that's something that we reach out to Snow Pros or other organizations to sponsor. Last year, Ron Schmansky, who used to be a commissioner, he organized the Knights of Columbus, and they donated 60 brand new coats to this. You will see at your high school, both Hutch and Glencoe, we're doing we call it a spring coat collection, but it's not of spring coats, it's for the winter coats. So if you are tired of your coat or don't like your coat or it doesn't fit, please donate it to us, and we will use that again next year. And this is held out at the National Guard Armory. And our next one is our school supply distribution, and maybe you have been a recipient of that or have helped with it or set up with that. This, again, people do not need to prove their income need for it. If they are wanting to participate for the school supplies, they just pre-register. We helped 450 students last year, but actually by the time it was done, it was closer to 500 students. This began in 2006, and we didn't even have 200 participating. So that's how much this has grown, and it's grown more now in our expense because we help with some of the rental for the Chromebooks, which are mandatory, at least in Glencoe or in Hutch. Glencoe do not charge that rental fees. But right now we're negative 2,400, so we will be recruiting, seeing if we could get some grants for that, and also to reach out to the J.C.'s in Hutchinson, and we're looking at a possible for the Rotary here in Glencoe. The next is the weekend backpack program, most expensive. When you do see that pie chart, you'll see how much is spent on that. This program is huge. It began in 2011, actually per request of the state. The Food Bank of Minnesota reached out to me in 2008 or 9, right after the big HCI layoff, and they wanted to make sure that we were aware of our food disparity due to the income basis, the cost of living for McLeod County. We were the highest outstate county that showed a need, again, because of that layoff at HTI. So Hugh Foster and his wife started this program called the Weekend Backpack. If parents were able to require for the free lunch, at that time there was free lunch, there's a requirement financially. So if they were eligible for free lunch, then they could also receive food over the weekend. We started with second graders, we started with 35 kids, and now we are at 416. So this serves Silver Lake, Winstead, Lester Prairie, Glencoe, and Hutch, and the parochial schools as well. Total income is $30,335,000, but right now we are negative 14. This is the first year we've hit a negative balance there. We have written a grant to the Otto Bremer and to the McLeod. I know it's the Minnesota Active Volunteer Association. We were requesting $50,000 from them, which we were praying that we'd get that because that increases our volunteer opportunities as well. But that meal is between $4 and $5 every week, so you can do the math on 400 students. It's a very expensive program. I would encourage if your family, friends, I know Sheila has participated in that. We pack bags every week. We have volunteers that come in and pack in Hutch and in Glencoe. And it's a great opportunity to just see actually the little bit of food that does make a big difference to families as well. So this is our only income-based qualifying program. They have to qualify now what's called education benefits. And our next one is provision of personal items. And all of you in the high schools, we have personal care items available. If people are on food stamp program, they are not able to buy any personal care items. So we recognize the need from that by having requests from school nurses, counselors. There was a lot of students that were not able to have some of the products that they needed. So they have these available now for their locker rooms or to give to students to take home as well. We expanded it last year to senior citizens. I felt that senior citizens are often on a fixed income, so we are now delivering products to the income-based housing for seniors, and then Valley View and Northwoods here in Glencoe as well. So folks do know we actually have a lot of our clients that come in and that's all they're right now in need of: body wash, shampoo, deodorant, especially a lot of the homeless people that we see. That's about all that at this point that we have available for them. So we help that as well. Diaper distribution, as this is to give one package of diapers twice a month in both Glencoe and in Hutch to families that are in need, no income needed to be verified. This has been a wonderful program that we probably had the most appreciated, I guess, thank you notes that we receive. As you will sometimes see, is that expensive. They're very expensive for the diapers and child products. So as you see, that's the biggest negative. We have negative almost $33,000 in the red for that program. But the board is adamant to continue with that because we do see that help that gives. Daycares do not provide diapers, and it's difficult to work if you don't have daycare, especially single moms, single dads. So this has really been a benefit. The Common Cup took this over in 2006. It was started in 2000 by Riverside Assembly of God, and they were doing it each month, but now we're at 80 to 100 bags of diapers that we give out each month collectively. So you see the expenses there, and we have just written a grant for that as well. And then these are just some areas that are what we help people in need, whether they might need help with their utility bills. That's our largest one. Gas vouchers, we do not just give those out to anyone. They have to prove their, the rules are they have come from a medical appointment, come from a job interview, or started a job. We expect people, once they begin a job, that they need to budget for gas. So we only do that if they haven't received a paycheck yet. And then an application fee to apartments, some deposits, co-pays on medication. That's mostly for senior citizens that we help with, and that has gotten better since that whole donut hole, but we still will help with those as well. And then some car insurance and minor repairs. We realize there's so many people driving without insurance, and out of financially that was what they needed to do, so we really do not want that to be. So we will help with some of their insurance costs. We never pay any bill in its entirety. People are expected to contact the county and UCAP, reach out to their families. Sometimes if people have a job and work, we do work out an agreement that they can pay us back for, especially for utilities, because we do not want them disconnected. And these are just the areas that we expanded in because we, the board they do not want to just build up the coffers. So when we have a ratio that 100% of our amount that we helped clients with last year, we always want to keep in savings, but we want to spend the money that people have given us. We reached out to, we have a motel room, 2 of them now, one at the Custom, one at the Queen. This is for people short-term, 2 to 3 days, that are homeless. Since we have these, it's always full, and there's a definite homeless need here. We have a large population, I think, that people realize, because the definition of that can be just couch hopping, or you're staying with a friend that you're not on the lease, or just yourself, that a lot of it's mental illness. So we do what we can with that. That's probably our most, for mine anyway, the most frustrating thing is how to get a hold on that. Jail support, the president of our board is John Bergsing, and he is a Gideon and has jail support ministry. So now he's bringing products there as well when he does Bible studies. and then our 2 diaper distributions, and then the personal care items to the senior citizens that we have done. So those are areas. We love volunteers. We need volunteers. Our initial is prayer support and being an on-call volunteer. Those are the ones that answer the calls and work with the clients, assisting with any of our programs. And I know you, even high school students, would definitely could use your help, like with signing up for school supplies and coats, and collecting the personal donations for different programs that we have, or serving on our Common Cup board as well. And again, just like what Paul was saying, you know, if people know of a need or they see something they recognize that we may not, we always want to hear about that as well, because we want to do what we can and be good stewards of the money in serving people that are in need in our county. So I think the next, okay. And does anybody have, I guess I would say from the commissioners, any questions about that or the finances?
Go ahead.
Mr. Chair, and Bev, thank you for coming in today. You maybe already mentioned it a little bit about your interaction with some of our other organizations. So can you give me a little more information about your interaction with, let's say, Supporting Hands, Nurse Family Partnership, United Community Action, McLeod County Emergency Food Shelves? Can you just do a quick review on the interaction that you do with Common Cup and those groups?
Yeah, good. Thank you for asking that, because yes, we do. It is a collaboration. We always want to make sure that they are accessing anything that is out there as well, and also to make sure folks know we are not just another social organization. It is Christian-based. So we also do give out Bibles and devotionals, but we have worked very closely with Food Shelf. In fact, we have a little mini food shelf that if our either Glencore Hutch is closed, we can give people food just until that next day that they're available. In UCAP as well, we have worked, because what we'll usually do is say, this is probably what we can give. What do you think you could give? And then see if the client themselves have ways. And the county, we get referrals, we work with public health, and just also a lot with social services for folks, especially families, especially child protection services, and they maybe just will pick up products from us. So we really are kind of a conduit that a lot of people will donate things to us that then we can give on to other people as well. And then regarding the nursing services, it's just more what McLeod County, what public health has in place.
Mr. Chair. And I think what you just explained kind of helps me and highlights for me the interactions that are going on and the resources that we have in McLeod County. It shows that the needs are larger than what one organization can really fill. So thank you for what you do. Thank you for Common Cup in McLeod County.
Right, and I know that McLeod County too was, like I said, they were praised when I was able to go to the state and receive that, and R.T. Ryback was the speaker head, and so many of the, like Hennepin, Scott, Douglas County social workers came up afterwards to say, how do we get something like this going, because no county can do it alone, and no one church or business or group can do it alone. So I think that collaboration is so important.
Yeah, big thank you for attending today, and I know for the sake of the students, an action or a term that you brought up quite often was volunteers and volunteering. And so students, I hope you recognize the power that you have to improve your community by simply taking time to volunteer. And this organization is one of many ways that you can take part in making that happen.
Great. All right, thank you again for letting me be here.
Just one note,
Yes.
if any of you in the room haven't been helped by Bev, one of your friends have at school for sure. You may not know that or see that, but Bev, you, not just a bit of time, you give like all of your time to the community. And we see you all over, and we see you, and we thank you, and thank you. You do an amazing job helping people. So we're very grateful for your dedication.
Thank you.
All right, great presentation. We now move on to our ditch systems. So as our auditor treasurer, Connie Kurtzberg, is coming forward, we will need a motion to open our public hearings for ditches 18, 19, 26, 27, and 38.
So, second.
The motion by Nagel and a second by Luthens to open our public hearing. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Go ahead.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, board, students. Today I am here to finish the continuation, hopefully, of our 5 drainage systems that we have redetermined. Today's public hearing continuations are for the limited purpose of approving the previous public hearing proceedings and for reviewing and adopting the proposed findings and orders as prepared by Attorney John Kolb of Rinky Noonan. Public comment was received during the previous public hearing proceedings on all previously mentioned systems. Proposed findings and orders and draft proceedings were included in the board packet. So our first here, item B, is to consider approving the February 22nd, 2024 public hearing proceedings and continuation public hearing proceedings for County Ditch 18.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion by Nagel and a second by Kruger to consider approving February 22nd proceedings for County Ditch 18. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
Connie, all the stuff back from Ricky Noonan and all the work was received in due time, and we got a chance to review it. That we were waiting, the findings that we were waiting for.
Yes, findings were in your
Yeah.
board packet.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, will proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, and then the redetermination public hearings for CD 18 were on February 22nd, 2024, and continued to April 3rd, 2024. And then the next item, I would ask the board to consider adopting the findings and orders of the redetermination of benefits for County Ditch 18.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Nagel and a second by Kruger to adopt the findings and order for the redetermination of benefits for County Ditch 18. Any further discussion? Seeing none, will proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Our next group, we will move on to County Ditch 19. Consider approving the February 22nd, 2024 public hearing proceedings and continuation public hearing proceedings for County Ditch 19.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion by Kruger, second by Nagel to approve the February 22nd public hearing proceedings for County Ditch 19. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, will proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The redetermination public hearings for CD 19 were on February 22nd, 2024, and again continued to April 3rd, 2024. So consider adopting the findings and orders of the redetermination of benefits for County Ditch 19.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion by Kruger, second by Nagel to consider adopting the findings and order of the redetermination of benefits for County Ditch 19. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item F, consider approving the February 23rd, 2024 public hearing proceedings and continuation public hearing proceedings for County Ditch 26.
Move to approve. Second.
We have a motion by Kruger and a second by Nagel to consider approving the February 23rd hearing and proceedings continuation of County Ditch 26. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And redetermination public hearings for County Ditch 26 were on February 23rd, 2024, and continued to April 3rd, 2024. Consider adopting then the findings and orders of the redetermination of benefits for County Ditch 26.
Move 26.
Second.
Motion by Kruger, second by Nagel to approve the findings and order for redetermination of benefits for County Ditch 26. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, will proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And then we will move on to County Ditch 27. Consider approving the February 23rd, 2024 public hearing proceedings and continuation public hearing proceedings for County Ditch 27.
So moved.
Motion by Schmalz, a second by Luthens, I believe we'll call that. To consider approving the February 23rd public hearing proceedings and continue with the hearing for County Ditch 27. Is there any further discussion? Being none, will proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Redetermination public hearings for County Ditch 27 were on February 23rd, 2024, and continued to April 3rd, 2024. Consider adopting then the findings and orders of the redetermination of benefits for County Ditch 27.
Move 27.
And second.
Getting hard to figure out who said what here. Motion by Kruger, second by Schmalz, to consider adopting the findings of order for the redetermination of benefits for County Ditch 27. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Okay, our last system is County Ditch 38. Consider approving the February 23rd, 2024 public hearing proceedings and continuation public hearing proceedings for County Ditch 38.
Motion by Kruger, second by Luthens, to consider approving the February 23rd public hearing proceedings and continuation for County Ditch 38. Any further discussion? Seeing none, will proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Redetermination public hearings for County Ditch 38 were on February 23rd, 2024, and continued to April 3rd, 2024. Consider then adopting the findings and orders of the redetermination of benefits for County Ditch 38.
Move 38, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Motion by Schmalz, second by Luthens, to consider adopting the findings and order of the redetermination of benefits for County Ditch 38. Any further discussion? Seeing none, will proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you. I'd also like to thank my staff and the SWCD team for their diligence with reports and communication with the landowners on these systems.
Yes. A lot of action here in the last few minutes, but that was the result of months and hundreds of hours of work to get here. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Chair, move the public hearing.
Good motion by Nagel,
Second.
second by Kruger to close the public hearing. Any discussion on that? Seeing none, will proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Back to regular meeting. We'll move into building maintenance.
Good morning.
Morning.
Consider approving the sale at auction of a 2012 Ford Escape and a 2013 Ford Escape through Jeff Martin Auctioneering out of Glencoe, Minnesota.
Move to approve.
We have a motion by Kruger, a second by Nagel, to approve the sale of auction of a 2012 Ford Escape and a 2013 Ford Escape to the Jeff Martin Auctioneers. Any further discussion? Seeing none, will proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Public Works.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Consider approving estimates from Design Electric to St. Cloud, Minnesota for 3 fairgrounds electrical upgrade projects, plus add-on conduit option for project number 2 for a total cost of $134,000 with funds from the designated for capital assets budget. To facilitate current events and to plan for future events at the fairgrounds, there's a variety of electrical upgrades that are needed in various sections of the grounds. Staff have identified 3 projects that will help to address those needs. The first project is in the inner ring road, where we will be adding more 50 amp outlets to better service for different events, one being the county fair with all the vendors, and then we do have multiple events throughout the year where we have RVs staying over a weekend, and so then this will help to allow for more of those vendors and people staying to actually stay at the fairgrounds. For project number 2, we're going to be installing security lighting and then 50 amp outlets on the east parking lot. So we'll be installing three security lights, and then on each one of those will be 50 amp outlets, 2 of them, and then we'll be doing pedestals in between those security lights, which will have 50 amp outlets as well. The security lights will be installed by Hutchinson Utilities, but the contractor will be responsible for setting the poles. And then in project 3, we're going to be installing a bunch of 50 amp outlets to the area west of the grandstand. We often have, again, going back to different events where we have people spending the weekend there, camping, vendors, the fair when we have the carnival, people staying along there. So a lot of different events where we need more space for those 50 amp outlets. And those will be installed on pedestals as well across that area. We did receive an estimate from Design Electric in the amount of $129,600 with the option to add on conduit for project 2 for additional $400. And the second estimate was received from E2 Electrical Services out of Hutchinson at a cost of $143,296.93 with an option to deduct the conduit from all 3 projects for a deduction of $3,940. Any questions on the projects?
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead.
And John, what's the timeline as far as getting a contractor in to do the work and complete the project?
Well, we're hoping to have these projects completed by the fair. I know in talking with one of the contractors, they were saying that there's a 45-day lead time on some of the panels that we're going to be using, 400 amp panels. So some of that will be dictated by that, but hopefully they can get in and do some of that groundwork prior to getting some of those panels. So as far as when they can start, I don't have that exact answer, but we've been discussing this project with them for some time now. So it's definitely on their radar, and I think they're planning to get going as soon as possible.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
what about the infield? Did we talk about water getting out there?
We are planning on doing some water out there. That won't be a part of this project, but we're going to be contacting some contractors to running a water line out to the infield there.
Okay, all right.
Just a couple more notes on that, and we're in pretty active communication with the Fair Board to make sure that these projects are making sense and along the lines with their long-range planning as well. Today's proposal did get complete support from our Fairgrounds Commission Board.
Correct.
And as Mr. Jerbeck indicated, this is, helping take care of some deficiencies of the past, but also provide for the future. As our events continue to get bigger, we're short on the electrical side. So we're addressing some growth. We're also addressing some safety concerns, getting rid of some of those perhaps questionable wiring situations as well. So I'll make a motion to approve. Is there a second? We have a motion by Wright and a second by Nagel to consider approving the estimate from Design Electric at a total cost of $134,000. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Call of Employee Relations.
Good morning.
Morning.
I have 2 items this morning. Item A is consider approving recommendations from the Evaluation and Personnel Committees to assign the Community Service Work Coordinator job description a grade 150. This is a role that currently exists. It has not been evaluated in over 10 years. This role provides supervision and coaching for juvenile court-ordered work crews. This is a part-time role that is unique in that it has full-time hours in the summer months and then up to 30 hours a month throughout the year, supporting different projects, mainly fairgrounds, our environmental services, and works directly with probation.
Questions, anyone?
Move to approve.
We have a motion. Is there a second? I can second that. We have a motion by Kruger and a second by Wright to consider approving the recommendations from our evaluation committee to put the Community Service Work Coordinator at a grade 150. Any further discussions? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item B is consider approving recommendations for the Evaluation and Personnel Committees to assign the Administrative and Compliance Coordinator job description a grade 160. This is a new job title. This role will act as the deputy clerk to the county board, and then will also be coordinating employee and facility safety and serves as the public information officer. This was an opportunity for us to step back because we have an upcoming retirement for our emergency management director, looking at a position like we do with all of our positions that will be vacant at some point and finding a creative solution. So again, this is on a new role, but it is a new job title.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
I just want to note that it's the Deputy Public Information Officer. I'm the Public Information Officer, and I should have seen that, and I didn't. I apologize.
Sorry about that. Yep.
Can you repeat that, please?
The part that says, as the Public Information Officer by statute, I'm the Public Information Officer. However, this person would serve as the deputy. They're the deputy clerk to the county board, so it's a Deputy Public Information Officer, but it's not noted there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, questions, anyone?
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion by Nagel and a second by Kruger to consider the recommendation from our evaluation committee to assign the administrative and compliance coordinator job a description as a grade 160. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
I had quite a bit of discussion, well, not quite a bit, I've had several times I talked to Hannah and our administration, and I questioned how we were doing this at first, but I feel confident in after having this conversation that this will be all right, but it will be watched for efficiency and hope we get everything we want out of this, so. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item will be our attorney's office. Mr. Hench.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The item for consideration today is to consider adopting Resolution 24CD17, which would be the board's consent to the full-time appointment of Thomas Borgen to an assistant county attorney position. This position had been vacant since February with the departure of Mr. Jordan. So Tom Borgen comes from Redwood County. He had been an assistant county attorney there since 2021, and then he had practiced in the city of New Ulm in a private firm for several years that did also handle city prosecution prior to becoming an assistant county attorney. So we are excited to get Tom on board and have him hit the ground running. So that is my request. Thank you.
Questions, anyone?
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
I will move Resolution 24-CB-17.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion by Schmalz and a second by Kruger to consider adopting Resolution 24CB17, consent to the full-time appointment of Thomas Borgen to be an assistant McLeod County attorney. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead.
And Attorney, were there other applicants that you could review as far as recruiting for this position?
We did have the posting open for some time. We did have several applicants. There were, the majority of those applicants were relatively, inexperienced or, recent graduates or oncoming graduates, but we did receive some applications from a few others that also had previously served as assistant county attorneys. So I was pleased to have that pool to choose from when I talked to my counterparts around the state. Recruiting and retention continues to be a major concern, so I feel pretty fortunate to be able to bring on somebody like Mr. Borgen. And then the only other thing I would note for those listening is, the county attorney has the authority under statute to appoint an assistant county attorney, but it specifically requires the consent of the board. So not every hire that the county hires, because they have a lot of employees, comes before the board. But by statute, I'm not an employee, so I have a unique relationship to the board, but any of my assistants are, so that's why I need to ask for the board's consent, so that's what I'm doing here today. And
Thank you.
Commissioner Small, did that answer your
Yeah,
question?
very good. Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a much-needed position for our county attorney. I think he did his good due diligence. Unfortunately, the help is needed. I shouldn't say it that way, but these guys are really busy, so and I know he did his due diligence in going through the candidates, so.
Okay, any other comments? Moving forward? Okay, thank you. Moving on to county administration.
We have to vote.
Oh, you are right. I got to call that vote. We do have a motion to consider adopting. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now we can go on to county administration. We'll begin with our calendars. Commissioner Nagel.
Well, my calendar was relatively light the past couple of weeks for a variety of reasons, but I'm not going to give up my time that quick. An organization that's been here similar to the Common Cup was to be continued. I'll just read their mission statement off their website. We're striving to increase awareness of suicide prevention, mental health, and wellness through advocacy, education, and outreach. And that's what they do when they come here, and it's been a wonderful asset to our county as well as some others. They talk about on the website, if you look it up, it's talk about education and support group. But the reason I'm bringing this up is this past weekend in Glencoe, they had their annual fundraiser. And it's dancing like the stars. And Commissioner Wright can tell you stories about that, but I'm not going to make him do that. But I wanted to take this little bit of time. I wanted to congratulate them because they raised about $330,000+ for their cause. And I think that should not go unnoticed. And I wanted to take the time to congratulate them on that. And I look forward to individually and hopefully as a board supporting them in the future as they continue this great cause. So, that's it.
Very good comments. Meetings that I attended on the 9th, we did have, including the full board and then also a joint board of Sibley County, various meetings, full day of getting those ironed out and brought forward today for approval. On the 11th Fairgrounds Commission, a lot of that we approved here today with electrical project and also getting our new building. Understand that there's some soil borings that need to get taken care of and get some corrections underway, and then we can finally get that new building rocking and rolling out there to get it used. Understanding that there's already people that are calling to reserve it, and we haven't even started putting the first pieces together yet. Over the past couple weeks, I did attend a couple of different soil health meetings that were put on by various soil and water conservation districts in conjunction with ours here in McLeod County. The first was in Arlington, and the second was in Renville County. This is where some of those clean water funds, the extension, there's just a ton of partners being put together, and in both cases, producers attended very, very well. I think Arlington, the community center was full. The one in Renville County, when farmers jumped on the bus to see some field tours of different cover crops, different farming practices, it took 2 full school buses to get everybody around. And so it's nice to see that these dollars that are being allocated through the state, through the clean water and other funds are being put on the ground in front of farmers, and farmers are hungry for some of those new and upcoming practices that are more sustainable, and to see those presentations happening. And it sounds like McLeod County is looking at having one here in June, and our guys here in our Soil Water Conservation District, and so looking forward to that. But again, it's showing very good participation and a good use of dollars to get it out to producers. So.
Thank you, Commissioner Wright. Since the second, we've had numerous ditch hearings, as you heard in our finalizing of it today. And then I also had on the 5th, I'm on the Mid-Minnesota Development Company, which appoints me to the ATPA Transportation. And the highlights of our meeting on the 5th were just for the local, is here on 212 and the bridges by Plato. The crossover starts. The work on the crossover starts on the 25th. Maybe, Andrew, you covered this earlier, I don't know, but the work starts there they're starting work already, doing some locations but they will put the crossover in so they can change lanes in 25, and the bridge will be done in 26, and I heard you covering the roundabout here on Morningside and 212, which starts this year. I think they're getting ready to run there now already. So That's going to be a little, going to be some challenges getting around, but it's well needed. And then I just wanted to kind of remind the students that when we went through this hearing, that was actually the Drainage Authority. I mean, we still are the commissioners, but that hearing was actually done in our capacity as the Drainage Authority, and there was a lot of work, as Chair Wright said earlier, but that's part of our duties as well. And then they had asked if I had anything, and at the time I didn't, but then I got to thinking, if you want to do something, read the Constitution. I don't know how good the teachers are, but this is probably the most important thing, and I think that is not being done, is to read the Constitution and figure out what it means. It's not that long a read. It's actually pretty simple. The Bill of Rights and all the amendments kind of lay everything out and what your duties are. We all swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States and of Minnesota. Some of us took that oath more than once, but to me, that's probably the most important thing to do now, because a lot of people forget what our rights really are. But again, welcome. I guess I can continue on one. We had a review on the 5th for one of our Buffalo Creek watershed board members, which we as commissioners get to appoint. And that brings us to today, so thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Kruger, and thanks for that primer in the U.S. Constitution. On Wednesday the 3rd, I started out the morning with a meeting where one of our communities is considering a Head Start and an Early Head Start program. There was a meeting that UCAP representatives attended, along with some community leaders, and Liz Danielson from McLeod County, our Economic Development Coordinator, and myself were included. And then Wednesday afternoon, the 3rd, we had our ditch meeting marathon going on, as you probably have all kind of heard enough about, that we had right here at the Government Center that afternoon. On Thursday the 4th, I had a trip to Alexandria, Minnesota, which is the home of Prime West Health. I, along with Commissioner Luthens, serves on the Prime West Health Joint Powers Board. Prime West Health comprises of 26 counties, mostly in central and western Minnesota, who have organized and run a health organization. So pretty much business as usual at that meeting. And then, like Commissioner Kruger had stated, on Friday the 5th, I came in and participated in the Buffalo Creek watershed interview. And last week, I had the pleasure of viewing some of our ditch systems in my district. I've been along with our ditch inspector, Adam Lesky. We met with 2 parcel owners on CD 8 and 1 parcel owner on CD 10 to discuss some sensitive issues that we're looking at as far as tree removal on those 2 systems. And yesterday morning, I Zoomed a meeting. Our AMC, our Association of Minnesota Counties legislative lobbyists, gave us an update on where things are at St. Paul. And I could do that through Zoom, so I didn't have to travel for that meeting. And that brings us to this morning, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I had 3 doctor appointments in the last 2 weeks, so I've been pretty busy with that again. Thank you.
Okay. Anything from the Attorney's Office?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would note, I think at the last meeting, I had highlighted a few recent jury trials that our office had handled. Last week, we had another felony jury trial. This was a burglary in the burglary that happened out in rural McLeod County. It came in as an active burglary in progress with someone in the home when the resident returned home after being gone to work. So it prompted an immediate response from the sheriff's office and a full response, and it was handled quite well. And the jury went well. Jury trial went well. He was found guilty, and one of our newer assistants was the first chair, and then I was on as second chair to assist, but she handled it. She did a nice job. So we've still been busy with the jury trials, but that's about it to report. Thank you.
Back to our administrator.
Thank you. Just to note, I did attend the Minnesota Association of County Administrators Spring Technical Meeting, which I noted I thought took place of the July meeting, and it doesn't. But nonetheless, it is probably the most valuable administrator meeting that I attend every year, so that seems to me to be okay. We went over several things. We focused on cannabis planning and zoning challenges that are going to be coming up, and they had presenters from Pope County and from the state, and that was helpful. We had 2024 election preparation and staff support. That was a really good session as well, along with another legislative updates, the same as the ones that you've attended with me when we go to our annual meetings, of course with new content. But then we talked about navigating the workforce shortage, which thankfully our county has done better than most. We have certain areas of challenge, like Ryan was talking about, which Susan Hansen was there talking about public sector employment challenges, and with the public defender's office at the state and the new competition for workforce because of that. However, I just wanted to let you know about that conference, or not conference, but meeting went very well. I'll move on. Oh, and I wanted to thank teachers Brooke Magnuson and Andrea Moore, I don't think is here. Jocelyn, is it Buckentine? Yeah. Okay. Thank you for coming today. We do really appreciate it. I know it's a lot of coordination. And to all of you students, thank you for signing up, even if your grandparents or parents made you, if they did. Sorry, but it is a good day. When you're at the courthouse law enforcement center, just be really careful with your phones. I know it's tempting, even for me, to take it out. It's a lot easier if you put them away. So that's a note that we like to just tell you while everyone's listening, because it's easy to forget. Item A, consider approving the Economic Development Committee recommendation to authorize myself, Sheila Murphy, the county administrator, to send written notice of an event of default to Glencoe Hotel Group LLC related to the tax abatement agreement between Glencoe Hotel Group LLC and our county, entered into on September 13th, 2023.
Move to authorize, Sheila.
Second.
We have a motion by Kruger and a second by Nagel to approve, asking our administrator to send a written notice of event of default to Glencoe Hotel Group. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chair, accurately, I guess we should we should actually add the resolution number 23 CB 41.
Agreed.
That was the resolution that we had adopted in 23 to start the process, but it would
Right,
be
and
in
that's the one
event
where-
to default to the resolution. Okay.
Because I see there's no action on that item, so.
This is just the written notice for the default. So then after that.
So we're just simply referencing that.
Yep.
So are we clear?
Yep.
Okay. Any other additions or any other questions to the motion? Okay, seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, and thank you to Liz for all of her work with that tax abatement and following through with the default as well. Item B, consider reappointing Kevin Lindeman to the Buffalo Creek Watershed District Board of Managers for a 3-year term beginning on May 18, 2024, expiring on May 17, 2027. The appointment was advertised as necessary, and then also myself, Commissioner Schmalz, and Commissioner Kruger met with Mr. Lindeman last week.
Mr. Chair, I move to reappoint Mr. Lindeman to the Buffalo Creek Watershed District.
I'll second it.
We have a motion by Kruger and a second by Schmalz to consider reappointing Kevin Lindeman to the Buffalo Creek Watershed District Board of Managers for a 3-year term. Any further questions?
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead.
I will say it was a pleasure interviewing Mr. Lindeman, and I thank him for his service on Buffalo Creek Watershed. I think we've got a very qualified candidate, and I'm happy to recommend him to fill the position.
Okay, very good. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you. I don't know if any of our students that are in attendance here today plan to be an attorney, but there is a very bright future in ditch law because there are not enough attorneys in the state of Minnesota to ever cover the amount of work that is needed on the ditches. You heard the commissioners reference them. Unless you live on a farm or have a ditch crossing your property, you probably don't know a lot about them. When I came to the county, it was unbelievable to me how much time it takes for them statutorily to manage the ditches along with our auditor treasurer's office. So anyways, we have a lot of items that you'll see on our agendas that talk about ditches. Item C is notification of McLeod Sibley Joint Drainage Authority. Continued public hearing on the redetermination of benefits of Joint Ditch 15 McLeod Sibley at the McLeod County Government Center here in the Martin McLeod Boardroom, 520 Chandler Avenue North, Glencoe, Minnesota, on Thursday, April 18, 2024 at 9:00 a.m. Item D, notification of McLeod Drainage Authority continued public hearing on the redetermination of benefits of County Ditch 32, again at the McLeod County Government Center here in the Martin McLeod Boardroom, 520 Chandler Avenue North, Glencoe, Minnesota, on Tuesday, May 7, 2024 at 9:30 a.m. Item E, notification of board workshop following the board meeting on Tuesday, May 7, 2024 at the McLeod County Government Center, 520 Chandler Avenue North, Glencoe, Minnesota. Thank you.
Any other issues that need to come before the board today? Open up for open forum or press relations. So students, before we started our meeting, you had a chance to ask us questions. If you come forward with one now, you officially get it recorded in the board minutes. So do you have any questions for us as of yet? Anyone else wish to approach the board? Yeah. Seeing none, we'll be looking for a motion to recess.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
before we close the meeting, I just thought of something that I would hope that we would pay attention to. If you've noticed in the papers that are coming to possibly a halt or closing, I would encourage people to pay attention to our website, especially now. I don't know what's going to happen. It's a small business issue all through the state, but the papers are having a hard time. And if you don't know, like the Leader is shutting down, and the printing of all our papers are being done at Crow River, and Crow River is in that process of shutting down. So it's all up in the air. I'm not going to speculate on what's going to happen, or even our own county printing is done a lot by Crow River. So please pass the word and pay attention to our website. That's all I got. Thank you.
Just to dovetail on that, you will find our agenda prior to our board meetings available the Friday before, if you go on the McLeod County website, so you can see what we're going to talk about. And that's their opportunity to give them a call if you have a concern on any of those items. I do have a motion to recess from Commissioner Luthens. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Kruger to recess until our next county board meeting, 9 a.m. Tuesday, May 7th, here at the McLeod County Government Center. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Stefan, do you want to go ahead and talk about next steps? It's pouring.
Yes, it
So
is
that's
pouring.
great.